Welcome guys, this is Soihavetoplay and we have a different video today. We're going to talk about Master League and how to handle the situation when you start out with a club in a tight budget. For myself, I like to start with a second division team, and often I find myself with very limited resources. So what we need to do is take a number of approaches to build some salary, and let's talk about it. Let's pop the Master League here. So just for clarification, just so you guys know, I don't want to miss this little nugget of information here, but under general settings, when you start the game, you can you have the option here to actually start the budget. See the starting budget, you can have it as normal, which is what we usually use, or you can go challenge yourself, and that'd be crazy if you're starting with a little team. You can go smaller budget, or you can go a larger budget. And if you do a larger budget with a big club, you're just gonna have a lot of millions there to spend, and it's almost meaningless. So just want to give you that heads up that you have always that option, but I for myself like to start just normal situation for most transfer frequency and negotiation as well. All right, so let's get going into the Master League. All right, so the first thing I would say, do not forward time. We need to do a bunch of things to get ourselves ready before we move forward with this. Okay, do not forward time until we're ready. So I like to check the schedule. How much time do I have? And it looks like I'm starting in August, and probably just half a month. You know, there's no preseason tournament, and if you do have a preseason tournament, play it, because you can get easily a couple of millions for your budget right away. But unfortunately, I don't see a free tournament for these leagues, so I'm set. Okay, so one of the things the game is gonna take you immediately into the inbox for the manager, and you wanna make sure that we set the budget the way we want it. We're gonna receive most of the income through salary, because I'm gonna try to build up a salary budget. This is gonna be my approach. Contact options here we can use, we'll leave it at transfer, but fan favorite, which you get monthly, that'll be a good one to switch to salary budget. Again, this is up to you guys. I'm just giving you my experience, and just a little chat here on the approach to starting with a low budget team or limited budget team. Okay, so having that set up, I'm gonna check if I can release players, because usually you're gonna start with a larger squad than you need, and I have 32 players here, you see there. So I'm gonna try to see if I can sort this out, and I'm gonna try to identify that we're gonna have players here that we probably can get rid of. I'm looking by position, and unless you know your team, this is very personal. You might have players there you want to keep, but you might realize that there are some players, you know what, I can release this player, I don't think it's worth selling it or waiting to sell it, but I can make quick salary income by releasing that player, and I know I have some of those. Now I wouldn't do that just yet, because you want to review your game plan. Again, this is very personal. You may have a favorite formation, but when you do that, remember that the requirement for the positions, instead of wings, you might need midfielders, so or defensive midfielders instead of central midfielders or attacking midfielders. So if you want to match for the best team spirit, etc., then just make sure that you review that before totally moving forward and start selling players you may want to keep, because they will perform better in a particular position. I'm just gonna give you that heads up, and if you hold the button here, you can move and convert them a position. You know, this is another tweak you can do with the formations. I just want to give you a hint while we are at it. Okay, do not hit forward. We got a lot more to do here. Okay, so I'm gonna go into negotiations, which is the main panel that we are gonna be working with. And on my team, we talked about releasing players and setting some players that we could sell. So here, these bottom players, I don't recognize anyone here that might be a great prospect, and I'm not gonna wait for these guys to progress so many points because the season is gonna be over. So I'm gonna release a couple of guys here, and again, don't pay too much attention to how much money and bringing in. The point is that it's independent of. I'm just trying to show you here what you can do to generate money. It might be in your case, you pick a different player that can give you more income, and you don't think you're gonna really cash a lot on it, but you can increase your salary budget by just doing that. And I just still have 30 players in my squad, and you see how there I increased my salary budget already, which was very tight. All right, so there are some other ones that I can say, you know what, I'm gonna try to sell. I'm gonna put in the transfer policy. Again, this is just an example, and you can mark it here, and if you want to, you can mark loan, because that will allow you to get rid of that salary. And I can do that with a couple of other players. These are all little twists, little tricks that you can do before you hit that forward button in the calendar. You want to do this in advance, because then you want to have that lead time and show those players that are for sale. So let me just do one more here, and I should be good to go. That was a player that had more market value. You got all these tabs here. Remember, you got scouting, under negotiations, list of players, advanced search, other teams when you're dealing with other teams, and the youth team. This is very important because some of these players have very high market value. And you see, this is the one I customize, obviously. That the one on the top, 20 million. I'm gonna be bringing that guy by just paying the salary, because I customize my player within the youth team. But we got Harrington here, starting almost 7 million, and I only need to pay the salary of 200,000. So this is a great approach. If you want to try to get those players and then sell them, you can generate a lot of money. But it's more risky because you know, you don't know if you're gonna get to sell them. But anyways, you can go back to the edit settings, edit and players. Edit player here. I want to let you know you're not limited to this youth squad that you've been given. I was with a French team, and right here you see that you got free agents as well. I was saying I'm in Europe, so it's gonna only show new players for Europe. But before we get to that, you'll see there's a lot of free agents there. Okay, new players for Europe. This is what is shown for me in my particular master league, but I'm not limited to that. So these are the guys I have. Let me just sort them out here. So we see them the way we saw them within the master league. And you see, oh, this is ascending, right? Okay, all right, we go. Descending now. All right, so it is the same new players for Europe. Okay, so not limited to that, because you got Latin America new players, and you see that a pretty good list there, and they got some guys that are ranked like 70. Got some good players here. So again, you're not limited. You can look at these guys, and this is the Asia list. Don't limit yourself. You can go here, you find a player that you can just pay the salary, you can search him and still sign them up. Let's go back to the Master League. All right. So it goes to negotiations. And let's talk about scouting now. There's a couple of things you can do with scouting. And I'm going to enable here. And I know I want to get a goalkeeper. We're going to use that as an example. And perhaps I want a goalkeeper that still overall rating. Maybe it's still developing. I think our goalkeeper was like 65, 67 now. We can get anything close to that or better and developing, that'd be good. And let's see if we can get a midfielder, defensive midfielder with good rating and considering the budget. And what this is going to give you are a couple of options that you may have to pay some money, but hopefully within your budget, and they're very willing to sign with your team. So I didn't want to leave that out. We're going to go here in advanced search. And the first thing is, remember we talked about customizing a player, and I've done that in other videos. So if you do that, you can search the guy and bring him here. So I search for that, and I actually got 3 guys here. And 2 of them I know I created or customized out of the youth squad. This one. And it's a 74 that can play forward as well. And here you see that annual salary. It shows me how much I will have to get. So I need more money before I can get him. And look at the value. These guys have high value. But remember, if your custom player is within a team roster, you will have to pay a transfer money. So this is why I like to customize a youth player. Then when you hire him, you bring him only with salary money. Guys, that's probably one of the biggest tips that I keep telling people to do. All right. So what kind of other search we're going to do here? What I want to talk about was searching a position, but searching for free agents. Instead of just leaving it open, guys, you can actually just search the free agents. And the cool here again, you're not paying transfer money. You're just going to pay the salary money, and they're very willing to sign with your team as well. So you're going to get a lot of aged players in the 30s perhaps, but you can get some prospects as well. So I always check for this before I do anything. Unless you got a particular name player that you want to get, obviously, but if you're just trying to boost your team, this is a good approach. Again, this is very personal. You play the way you want, but I wanted to give you the options within the game and see if you can improve your chances. So here we're going to select free agent. We're going to search it, and we didn't get anybody. Okay, perhaps 400,000. We're going to bring this down, the rating, to perhaps 68, which is still higher than I got on my squad anyways. And we got some hits, and we're getting some tall guys like I like to for my goalkeeper. Not that it mattered that much, but and you see they're very affordable. This guy, 163,000, and he's 26. So in this case, this guy is 273,000. He's 35 though. I'm not gonna bring him in, but this guy, it could be an option. And I'll have to sign only with 180,000 actually. That's pretty cool. I was confused. It was the transfer money we were looking at. Okay, so that's what you can do here, guys. And if you just want to do the normal, obviously you know how to do this, but let's see what we can get anyways. I'm gonna set the, I don't want to burn all my transfer money. I'm gonna put 1,500,000. I mean, really $1.5 million, and we got quite a few guys. We'll have to pay that transfer money. Let me see if I can sort them out by overall rating. And you know, we got quite a few people that may or may not be willing to sign with your team. That's the drawback here, but you can scan through and see what opportunities you have. You get some 70s here. And I always check to see if they're still developing or not, and the age. And you see here, I found this guy, 22 years old, and he's 71. Here's another guy that's 70. Is he willing to play? It says not very likely to sign. The club is not impressed, and he's not impressed. So how do you know whether someone is willing to sign with your team? And at the top, you can do the R2, L2, and sort it out. This guy looks pretty good, actually. And I can get him for 2 years, I'm sure, for less than $1 million on a transfer. 69, 21-year-old. And if I do that, you see the annual salaries, the market value, and I can sort out also to see if the guy is willing to sign with us. And that's, let me go back to that, the affection. The more little blocks there are filled up, the more affection they'll have, or more willing to sign with your team. So this guy is willing to sign with our team, and it's going to be pretty cheap. $244,000 for salary and transfer fee. We do have that. So that's pretty cool. So we got a great option there. So again, it's a little tips. Hopefully, guys, you can pick something that maybe you didn't think about or didn't know. So I hope this little chat will help you out. Now we can go forward, and you see, you just go half a month there, and we didn't do anything. So, but we got an email here. I don't know what the game still sending emails when you're gonna, all you do is look at it, but you already know that you need to go back to team management for the same thing anyways. So negotiations, I got probably an offer on my team, and scouting. And for scouting, check this out, I got some other goalkeepers. I got a 71 25-year-old that is willing. All these guys are willing to sign for your team, and he's still developing, some developing to do, so that's pretty nice. And these guys are developing because that's why we highlighted to source. So guys, these are very dirt cheap. You can start with any of these guys. So that'd be an option too, although I think I like the guy. This guy looks like a pretty good option. He's pretty young, and he should hit 70, but you know, I like this one. It's already at 71. All right, let's go look at my team, and it looks like we got a couple of baits taken, and here's an offer for this guy that is a 69, and he is 32 plus, going down. I think I would not hesitate. I have another RB there, so I wouldn't hesitate to sell this guy, but let's see if I can get more money for him, and perhaps 300,000 or so, because they are offering below his market value. So let's renegotiate. Don't bump it up too much, because then they will come back and say no, forget it. So this is what I'm gonna do. So we open a little bit more there. This will get you some transfer money and some salary money. All right, so we're gonna forward time, and hopefully fairly quick, a couple days or 3, we get, oh, there we go. We're gonna get a response, and let's see what we find here. I'm gonna go to managers. Yep, that's it. They came back, and it looks like, let's see, what would they say? They accept that, and they agree, so they're gonna pay that much. So we are gonna accept that and build up a little bit more our budget. And you see now we are 2.7 million, and we increase our transfer budget as well. Very cool. We're getting there, guys. We almost ready to rock and roll. And what I like to say is just that, you know, you can try this out. You can always save the game, go back and try it again if you need to. Look, we got another offer here. I'm just gonna go ahead. This guy's going down past 32. In my case, I'm not too crazy about this guy anyway, so we got plenty of midfielders, so I'm gonna accept. And now we got about $1 million of budget salary, so we can bring my custom player in and somebody else. So guys, that's all I have. Please give me your feedback, any other ideas you can share with the community, put it down in the comments, and I appreciate your support. Remember to subscribe for more and give it a like if this was cool stuff. Thanks for watching, guys.